Coming up on Network Africa. Tanzania's Vice President Samia Hassan set to be sworn in as the country's first female president. Tributes pour in for late President John Magufuli as Tanzania begins 14 days of national mourning. Plus, the World Health Organization recommends continued use of Astrazeneca vaccine. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Teniola Shobowale. Tanzania's Vice President Samia Hassan is set to be sworn in as the new president and will serve the remainder of President John Magufuli's second five-year term, which he began last year. It will make her the first female president of the East African nation and the second president to come from the country's semi-autonomous islands of Zanzibar. Ms. Hassan rose to prominence in 2014 as the deputy chairperson of a constituent assembly mandated to lead the drafting of a new constitution. A year later, she became the running mate of John Magufuli, the ruling CCM party presidential candidate. Mrs. Hassan is married to Hafida Amir and they have 4 children together. In the meantime, tributes have been pouring in for Tanzania's President John Magufuli from across the continent and the world. The 61-year-old, a prominent coronavirus skeptic, had not been seen in public since the end of February. Speculation was rife that he had contracted COVID-19. News of his death has been met with grief and shock.
Speaking on state television, Tanzania's Vice President Samia Hassan announced that 61-year-old President John Magufuli had died of a heart attack. In Dar es Salaam, the country's commercial capital, the streets were empty when the news of his death was announced just before midnight. Tanzanians paid tribute to him, saying he was a hard worker and that the news of his death pained them.
I remember him since the days when he was Minister of Works, and then he became president. A president who worked hard, that even if you didn't agree with him, it would get to a point that you just had to agree with him.
He was popularly known as the bulldozer, so hearing about the demise makes me very sad. He worked well, and it pains my heart to hear this.
The government has declared 14 days of national mourning and flags are flying at half-mast. Chairperson of the African Union, Musa Faki Mahata, says the African Union family is in united grief and Africa has lost a champion of regional cooperation in the East African region. Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta, who is the current chairman of the East African Community, has declared a 7-day period of national mourning in Kenya. Flags will also be flown at half-mast throughout Kenya and all its diplomatic missions abroad until sunset on the day of Mr. Magufuli's funeral. Malawi President Lazarus Chakwera has also announced the country would be mourning Magufuli for 14 days. Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni eulogized President John Magufuli as a pragmatic leader and a great son of Africa. Rwanda's President Paul Kagame says he's saddened by the loss of a brother and friend. He adds that Mr. Magufuli's contribution to the East African region will not be forgotten. South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa also took to Twitter to express his deep sadness. He says South Africa is united in grief with the government and people of Tanzania. Former Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan eulogized Magufuli as a partner in democracy and a patriot who loved his country. Outside the continent, a number of leaders, including Prime Minister Boris Johnson and Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro, have also paid tribute.
We'll have more on the life and times of Tanzanian President John Magufuli. But in the meantime, the World Health Organization says it's still recommending the use of Astrazeneca's vaccine against COVID-19 as the benefits outweigh its risks. The recommendation comes amid reports of red blood clot disorders in persons who have received the vaccine. To prevent risks, some countries in the EU, like Germany, France and Italy, have suspended the use of the vaccines.
Venous thromboembolism is the third most common cardiovascular disease in the world. It happens in populations regardless of whether they are vaccinated or not. COVID-19 vaccination will not reduce illness or deaths from other causes. As of now, we do not know whether some or all of the conditions have been caused by the vaccine or by other coincidental factors. WHO is assessing the latest safety data, and once completed, the findings will be made public. At this point in time, however, the benefits of the Astrazeneca vaccine far outweigh its risk, and its use should continue to save lives. We need to keep the confidence. If it's lost, we need to restore it, particularly for Astrazeneca, which is the big supplier to the COVAX facility, which is the only facility which is really looking at a equitable access. So it's about being transparent, showing empathy, and being competent.
Well, before now, there have been skepticism across African nations about the COVID-19 vaccine, with a lot of conspiracy theories making the rounds. With this controversy on the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, this surely would have reinforced people's perception of the AstraZeneca vaccine and other available ones. Well, joining us now for more on this is a psychologist, Dr. Tosin Imogeme, to discuss further on this. Thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Yes, my pleasure.
So let me get your thoughts on the back and forth, so to speak, on the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine.
Well, you know, the challenge we have in this part of the world is that we already have preconceived notions about this vaccine. For example, Nigeria is a religious country, and then we've had the scriptures say that at some point in time, there'll be this mark of the beast, there'll be this vaccine and all that. So this, and coupled with the conspiracy theories, as you know, and me going around the world, has caused a lot of anxiety, worries and all that too. But looking at the pandemic and the realities facing us, I think it's not something, it's inevitable. We just have to take it. And I don't think it's dangerous, because I think it just takes a learned person understanding what this entails. This vaccination is just the same thing as immunization. It's the process of injecting you with a weakened perhaps disease, allowing your adaptive immunity get used to it, and then it builds special antibodies. So you're tricking the body into believing that it has been attacked by a threat. So the body instantly, develops the antibodies ready to attack the next time such happens. So that's basically what it's all about.
It's good you say this, because a lot of people, some people don't know this because of misinformation. And with everything that's going on with the reports of blood clots in Europe, what impact is this likely going to have, perhaps on the mental health perspective of vaccine receivers and even those who have already received that?
Well, the truth is, of course, there's always side effects to everything. Even if there's some people who take Panadol, paracetamol, and they have side effects. Everyone has, we're whole unique beings, and how we react is different. I remember during the time of chloroquine. Chloroquine was effective, but then you have side effects of, such as itching, and different kinds of other symptoms. However, it's effective, and WHO, recognized and actually confirmed that this is actually working. And for even the countries that have been complaining, if you look at the rate at which no one has died anyway, they've not recorded any death from the vaccine. And the percentage of those who've been having side effects is pretty low. But the challenge is that Africa, once this conspiracy theories start to, spring up, it creates fears in our mind. And I think specifically for Nigeria, we already have underlying issues already. We don't trust our government, and then we feel that,
exactly.
Whatever they're doing is not in our best interest.
Yeah, I think it's important to state as well that there's been no controversial case here in Nigeria.
Yeah, not even Nigeria.
For those who have received the vaccine. And the health commissioner in Lagos State, like you mentioned, has said that vaccines usually have some side effects. In the meantime, the World Health Organization says it's investigating, but pending that investigation, what can people do? What advice do you have for people who are wary of taking the vaccine?
I think we just need to be calm about it. We just need to be calm about it, because anxiety alone, for example, if you're mistakenly told or you're mistakenly diagnosed to have HIV/AIDS, the thought alone can kill you before the virus, eventually does. So right now, the danger now is the anxieties and the worries we're having. So we need people to keep calm. If the government is going to take a decision on perhaps being patient on, getting updates from the World Health Organization, I think that's advisable. Then for individuals, I think it should be personal discretion. For if you have fears and then you take the vaccine and coincidentally you have headache or coincidentally you fall sick, that can drive you more mad, and then you feel that it's the vaccine. So I think it's a good idea. It's a good decision for them to just hold on till everything dies down.
All right, then psychologist Dr. Tosin Mogeme, thank you so much for that. It's been an interesting discussion. Thank you. Now, the head of the UN mission in Mali, Mohamed Anadef, has expressed his deep condolences to the families of the victims and the government of Mali following an attack on Malian forces near Gao, which left many people injured and 33 people killed. While speaking to reporters in New York, UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric said the attack was carried out by unknown gunmen.
The violence that we're seeing is also due, I think, to the lack of political movement. And I think it is very important that those parties in Mali, and as you know, which is undergoing a transition. We know what happened last year, and we're working with the national partners and international partners to ensure a smooth transition. But it is very important that all political actors and some of the non-political armed actors reconvene and recommit, rather, to the peace agreements and the accords that had been signed, for the sake of the people of Mali. And as you see, the security situation is not going in the right direction.
Still to come on the program. Zulu king buried as mourners pay tribute at memorial. More details in a moment. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us on the program, and back to our main topic for the day. President John Pombe Magufuli was admired by his followers for his hostility to corruption and waste. He was nicknamed the bulldozer for his fondness for massive public works and a reputation for pushing through policies despite opposition. However, he also attracted criticism at home and abroad for his intolerance of dissent and what opponents saw as his eccentric handling of the coronavirus pandemic. To speak more on his life and times is Tanzanian journalist Hassan Bumbuli. He joins us live on the program for more on this story. Thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Yes, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Hassan, what will President John Magufuli be most remembered for?
Actually, for Tanzania, here in the country, there is a lot to remember him for. You know, he was served as a minister for almost 20 years. President Benjamin Mkapa, the third term, and the whole fourth term, he was a minister. So he did a lot of things, construction of roads and a lot of things, buildings here in the country, as well as bridges. So a lot of things when he was a minister for road and construction. And now as a president, there's a lot as well. As you remember, we have in African countries, we have a problem of electricity. So in many villages now in Tanzania, there's electricity because of Magufuli. And with his slogan that hapa kazi tu, so people learn how to work hard in order to get the country income, in the family income. So he's the one almost making a lot of things changing here in the country. The flyovers and the moving from Dar es Salaam to Dodoma is the capital city of the country. So there's a lot that we can remember him in sports and everything. So we're really proud of his life during his presidency in this country. And it's very sad here in the country from yesterday night up to now. It's like everywhere people are very, very down because of this loss of our lovely president.
Yeah, I'm sure really, really sad times for Tanzanians. But there are rumors that the government is not being transparent about the cause and timing of his death. What more can you tell us about that?
I don't know what do people mean by being transparent of the cause of this, because for us in Tanzania, we don't actually, there's rumors everywhere in the world, especially in this world of digitalization and the world of social media and everything. There's a lot of rumors, there's a lot of talks of people. But as a journalist, as a senior journalist in the country, we are relying in the credible sources, and the credible sources is the information that comes from the State House. The Vice President said the cause of the death of the president is the heart, the heart machine, the heart electricity machine that the president has on his in the heart. And he said, she said, like he was permission to hospital to Muhimbili, Jakaya Kikwete Heart Institute, and he was well. And then he got again the heart problem. Then he was sent to the hospital that has passed away. So the cause of his death, we as a country, we understand that it is a heart problem. And since from the beginning, we understand that President Magufuli, our president, had this problem for almost more than 10 years ago up to now. So this is the code that we are relying for, and the government has been saying. But due to this, you see, Corona and everything, so people they are starting to relate with the issue and they want to connect with the issue. But for us, we are relying on the official. We stick on the official statement that have been given by the Vice President. That is the cause of his death.
Okay, tributes have been pouring in from across the world and the continent. Tanzania has declared 14 days of national mourning. Also, neighboring countries like Kenya has declared a week of national mourning. When do we expect President John Magufuli to be laid to rest?
Not yet. The official program has released out. I think after the sworn in occasion tomorrow, then the government will release the program of when really he's going to lay in the list. But I think during these 14 days. That's where the event will come. But as we understand that he was a top leader in the country, so people has together and pay their welfare to him, and that they maybe at the National Stadium or the Uhuru Stadium for almost 2 or 3 days. Then he has to take the body to Chato, where his home is, and then people from there, they have to pay his respect, and then the burial will come after. So we are waiting for the government tomorrow maybe to come up with the program that will lead the way on how we are going to the burial of our lovely president.
All right, let's talk about the Vice President, Samia Hassan, who we understand is expected to be sworn in on Friday. What do Tanzanians expect from her as the new leader of the country, especially as she will be the first president, first female president in East Africa?
Here in Tanzania, since she took the position in the parliament is constitutional parliament, he was the vice speaker of the constitutional parliament back in the 2015. So since then we started to understand how the Iron Lady she is. She is a good leader, and from that occasion, we came to understand that we have women who can stand out for their country, who can stand for their decision, and the decision can pass. So since he came and he been selected to become the vice president, we were as a country we were able to say, okay, now we are moving to the you women, we took 50-50, but we are close to that 50-50. And she became a vice president for the first term, and we saw how hard she works. She's a very hardworking woman. So in Tanzania, we don't have any problem, and we're expecting a good leadership from her because she has already shown the examples by doing. So we don't have a problem with her, and we're expecting a good leadership. And I know that she will manage the country up to where we are going, because she has that capacity of doing hard decision, and also skills of leadership, since she was in Zanzibar, then he came to the parliament, then she came to the vice president position.
And then Tanzanian journalist Hassan Bombuli, thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.
Okay, thank you very much.
And in South Africa, the king of the Zulu nation, His Royal Majesty King Goodwill Zwelithini, has been laid to rest in a private ceremony in his native KwaZulu-Natal province. The king, who reigned for about 5 decades, died last week after weeks of hospitalization for high glucose levels. All eyes are on the royal house to see who will succeed the very influential king, who had 6 wives and 28 children. Speaking at a funeral ceremony in his honor, South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa praised the late monarch for all his contributions to nation building and also challenged the people to continue making their own contribution, just like the king did.
Leaders like King Goodwill Zwelithini stood firm, determined that they should serve their people as their ancestors had done before them. His Majesty has left us, but his legacy lives on. It is a rich and proud legacy, and one for which he will forever be remembered. As we rebuild our country and restore the livelihoods of our people, we can be certain that the institution of traditional leadership will be a firm ally. Our nation has suffered a great loss, but let us pick up his spear and continue our quest to build a better South Africa.
And that's the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Teniola Shobowale.